All right, let's talk about something I think a lot of us feel, but maybe don't always understand, that powerful, deep-seated desire to just be alone. We're going to dive into what's really going on there, using some amazing insights from psychology and philosophy. And we're going to see why choosing solitude isn't a weakness, it's actually a huge source of strength.
So picture this. You're home, you're finally relaxed, and then you hear it, the doorbell, an unexpected visitor. And instead of feeling happy or excited, you get this sinking feeling in your stomach, a wave of resistance. All you want to do is pretend you're not home.
If that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not broken. You're not rude. You're not antisocial. That feeling is actually a signpost, and it's pointing to something incredibly deep and important about how your mind is wired.
So let's give this feeling a name, shall we? We'll call it the unwelcome doorbell. And we're going to unpack the powerful forces that are actually at play when someone shows up at your door unannounced.
And to help us out, we're going to turn to a real heavyweight, the psychologist Carl Jung. He said that this feeling, this discomfort, it's not a character flaw. Not at all. It's actually a deep, powerful instinct to protect your inner world. It's a defense mechanism for your own sanity. And this whole idea of protecting your inner world, well, it leads us to a really cool way of thinking about things. Imagine you have an inner energy economy. It all comes down to a simple question. Where do you get your energy from, and what costs you energy?
Jung talked about this as a flow of psychic energy, and you can really see the difference here. For extroverts, being around people is like plugging into a charger. That's where they get their juice. But for introverts, it's the exact opposite. You recharge from the inside, in solitude. So too much noise, too many people, it literally drains your battery. And that's why your home isn't just a place to live, it becomes a sacred space, a cocoon. And an unexpected visitor can feel like a disruption to that whole recharging process.
And get this isn't just some abstract psychological theory. It is baked right into your biology. Modern science actually shows that the brains of people who crave solitude are literally wired differently.
This chart breaks it down perfectly. See, when extroverts socialize, their brains get a hit of dopamine, that classic reward chemical. It feels good. But if you're an introvert, your brain kind of runs on a different operating system. You get your rewards from something called acetylcholine, which is linked to deep thought, reflection, turning inward. So for you, a lot of social interaction doesn't just miss the reward button, it can actually feel like a sensory overload. Okay, so that chemical difference leads us right into the next piece of this puzzle, the sheer exhaustion that comes with socializing. And it's often not about the people themselves, it's about the performance.
Jung had the perfect word for this. He called it the persona. Think of it as the social mask you wear. It's the polite, professional, agreeable version of you that knows how to fit in. We all need one to get by in the world, but here's the key. It isn't the real you.
And this is where Jung gives us a serious warning, captured in this quote right here. When we start to confuse that mask with who we really are, especially in our own safe space, our home, something inside us starts to rebel. The soul begins to cry out. I mean, wow. Having to put on a performance in your own sanctuary, it's just profoundly draining. So let's be crystal clear about this. That feeling of resistance, it's not because you hate people. It's because you hate the performance. You hate the emotional work of making small talk, of putting on a happy face, of constantly filtering yourself so you don't make anyone else uncomfortable. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer was all over this too. He argued that for anyone with a deep thinking mind, most social life just feels like a massive waste of energy. And you can see the clash right on this chart. Your mind is craving truth, depth, real connection, but what typical social life often offers is small talk, ego games, and social rituals. That huge gap is what leaves you feeling so exhausted and out of sync.
So if being out in the world can be so draining, where do we go to recharge? Well, let's flip the script and talk about the incredible power that comes from actively choosing the sanctuary of solitude. Now, first things first, we have to make a really important distinction. We are not talking about loneliness. Loneliness is a painful feeling of isolation that happens to you. Solitude is totally different. It's something you choose because of how rich it is. It's not empty, it's full, it's restorative. To Jung, choosing solitude was actually the very first step on the most important journey you can take in life. He called it individuation. It's just a fancy term for the process of becoming who you were always meant to be.
See, you don't withdraw from the world to hide. You withdraw from the noise so you can finally hear yourself think, connect with your soul, and then return to the world as a more authentic, whole person. And look at what you find in that quiet space. It is anything but empty. Solitude is a workshop where your best ideas are built. It's where you foster creativity, where you develop your own unique way of seeing the world. It's where you truly connect with yourself. It's the birthplace of so much greatness.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. What we're talking about here isn't just a personality quirk. It's about validating a completely legitimate way of being. It's about consciously choosing peace over noise.
So I want to offer you a new set of truths. Your need for quiet is totally valid. It isn't a defect, it's a sign of depth. Your sensitivity isn't a glitch, it's your superpower. Your mind is simply wired for depth, not constant distraction. And you're not antisocial, you're socially selective, and that's a sign of wisdom.
Schopenhauer just hits the nail on the head with this one. In a world that is constantly pulling you outward, he reminds us that true, sustainable happiness, well, that's an inside job. Your solitude isn't an escape from life. It's how you prepare to meet life on your own terms as your authentic self.
And that brings us to the final question I want to leave you with. Really think about this. Is your solitude a sign of sadness, or is it a sign of sovereignty? Is it the ultimate act of taking ownership of your mind, your energy, and your peace? The answer to that, well, it might just change how you see yourself forever.